and it's the Games for Impact. So the games are a lot more obscure and niche, and I don't know myself most of them. But you had, as a nominee, A Space for the Unbound, Chance of Senar, Goodbye Volcano High, Chia, Terranil, a very good game that I recommend, and Vemba. And the winner was Chia. I'm going to quickly talk about the only one I know, which is Terranil. And Terranil is an extremely relaxing game. Fantastically relaxing. It's a short game, 10 hours tops, right? With four different biomes that you can do twice each, if I recall. I played it a few months ago, so it's already far. But each biomes are highly polluted area, and you just have to clean it up using the quite innovative. I really liked it, and it just makes you feel better because you get out of Earth, and what was a highly polluted, completely impossible to live in environment, you live out completely green and full of wildlife, and it's very relaxing, very feel good game that I recommend. And of course, since it's the only game I played, I would have voted this one. I don't know the other one. So if Chia won against Tyranil, you know what? I need to play Chia because Tyranil left an impact on me. So I don't know. Adam, you said you played Chia?
No, I didn't play it. I know I'd
No.
seen some advertising for it because it was coming out on PlayStation, but I didn't play it. In fact, I had never even heard of A Space for the, and I'd only seen art for Chance of Benar and Venba. I saw a trailer for Terranel, and I saw trailers for Goodbye Volcano High and Chia. So I know in Chia it's more an environmental thing, and I know when it originally came out, I know that it was being advertised as this cute little, not exactly a platformer, but you're going around the island and you're helping people out, and you can like touch or somehow psychically transfer yourself into objects so you can become a tire and roll around as a tire, or you could become a coconut and do whatever a coconut has to do. But yeah, I know that later on after it came out that it started getting attention for some of its queer themes. So I'm wondering if maybe that was part of the reason why it was added.
Just talking about Tyranil, it left an impact because it's incredibly soul warming. That's all I can say. Just it's cheap. It's an indie game. It's very cheap. Just to buy it at the next sale if you want to have it even cheaper. But seriously, it doesn't last long, and it's just fun.
I think this is a good category though, because I don't know if you guys noticed this, but like the idea of games for impact have been like a thing the last 5 years or so. Like people have been releasing games about like mental health and dealing with trauma and that sort of stuff, and things about like opening up or coming out of the closet or talking about sexuality and that sort of stuff. And I think this is good. I think there needs to be more representation. The games to impact Venba, I'm very familiar with. I didn't play it. It's on my fake Nintendo wish list, which I always like to complain about because Nintendo doesn't allow wish listing in the store. But Venba is like the first, like this is not, I guess it's Indian, but it's like, we talked about this, right? There's like different kinds of Indian people, and I'm one kind, which is like a Tamil people. We're like darker skinned and taller, and some people are lighter skinned, which is like all the famous Indian actors. But like in Venba, you cooking food, and it's all the foods are like in very famous Indian names for foods, and like it's got culture and it's got the music and stuff. And I'm not like Indian, I'm South African Indian, so like fake Indian kind of in a sense. But that's cool. I would never imagine the game could have like food that I was growing up. Like promoting culture is, I think it's so interesting because the generation we grew up, right, like was just, apologies for saying it, like white people, white culture games, right? That's what I had to play as a kid, right? That's the TV I had to watch. Was like there was nobody of color on TV when I was a kid.
Yeah,
It
it was
was just,
always American or Japanese. That was it. Those were your two options.
so you see, you had two options. I just had one option. It was always white or Dutch white, right? Those are the only kind of kids TV we'd watch in South Africa in the 80s, right? There was no black, there was no Indian, there was no French, no Italian, no nothing. It was just this. So I think it's a great category. I'm looking forward to hopefully them expanding it and maybe having different sort of impactful categories. That would be cool, but we'll see.
How would you break them down?
All right.
I think
Like
I'd
family
like to
or
have, yeah, like
like
maybe
gender?
culture, racial issues, mental health, sexuality, or because there's so many games on Kickstarter about sexuality and transgender and gay and lesbian stuff. And I think that should be its own category because that really, if you're on Reddit a lot of the time, it's quite hard for people to open up to their family. Yes, I'm this. And it's games do help in a sense.
Maybe the next year award will have a LGBTQ plus category,
Maybe.
possibly. If it's, again, as great as the idea is, it has to sell. That's the thing, right?